Hi guys, welcome to Talk About It Thursday. I know it's different. I don't have my crew with me. I actually have Tate, which is going to join in, and Lysandra, when she gets a chance, she's going to join in as well. Y'all know how it is, busy lives. People have a lot of stuff going on, but guess what? The show must go on. You can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. But happy Thursday, everybody, and wait for some of y'all to log in. Again, today's topic, we're talking about conditioning and how it keeps us from purpose. So I'm definitely really excited about this. This is actually a segment I haven't been excited about one in a while. I'm excited about them all, but this one in particular, I'm very excited about. What's up, Nasir? What's up? Hey, Zai. Hey, Sugar Plum. So I'm waiting for people to roll on in. Again, guys, welcome to Talk About It Thursday. What's up, Lovey? Hello, darling. Let me wave at y'all. Hi. So, yeah, I'm waiting for Tate to join in. He's going to come in live with me. Again, we're talking about conditioning and how it can sometimes keep us away from purpose. So I'm really excited about this, guys. It's going to be a good segment tonight. Here we go. We got Tate in. Let me bring him on. Tate in on this thing. It's gonna be me and him tonight. Definitely can't wait. What's up, Leslie? Hey, Lolly. Hello, beautiful. Hey, Naja. Hey, girl. Are you ready for school? I hope you are. Thank you. Y'all know the rules for Talk About It Thursday, all right? Drink in hand. That's how we roll. What's up, Tate?
What up? What's going on?
Are you cold in your house?
Can you let me be great?
Okay, I'm gonna let you be great. Be great with Tate. Great segment yesterday. What's up, Mo?
Thank you.
DeMarcus, you gonna say what's up to the people?
What up, Peeps? What's going on? It's your boy. I hope everybody's Thursday was good. Mine was productive. I gotta get my drink. I'm late. I gotta go make a drink.
I just
I'll be
spilled
right
my
back.
drink, and I ain't even started drinking yet.
What up, Zaida? What's good?
So y'all
I'm gonna make a
know,
drink.
first things first. Tate is probably going to go leave right quick and get his, but y'all make sure y'all have y'all drink. This segment is going to be pretty interesting. I really hope all 10 and the rest of the people that's going to be logging on, they actually, what's up, Catherine? They actually watch this to at least as much as y'all can, because this is going to be a really good segment. I know a lot of people struggle with this in regards to finding purpose and in regards to, y'all let me know if my music is too loud or if you can't hear me or if you can't hear Tay. And I'll definitely turn my music down on my end. But yeah, happy Thursday, everybody. Again, engagement, conditioning, and how it keeps us away from purpose. A lot of times we have these issues where we want to grow, we want to learn, we want to do things, but we have these things stopping us from being our best selves and living our best lives. And yeah, all that good stuff. So we're gonna go over some things today. What's up, sister? Hey, Bruce. Hi. Y'all rolling on in here. Jameson, what's up, Jameson? My girl Mo. So y'all know what we do our either or segment first. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna skip that this time. I really want to dive right into this, guys. So this is really good. It's really good. What's up, Fee? What's up, Fee? So, first things first, I do want to just throw a couple things out there. Ladies, we have our pole dance, strip tease, twerk class on next Friday. So you guys use the PayPal link. Make sure you guys sign up for that. It's going to be pretty dope. What's up, Chart? It's going yeah, let him be great. He doing team too much right now with Tate.
Yo, Zaida always got something to say about me making my drinks and stuff.
It's all right. He froze too, but we're gonna keep this party going. So, yeah, Tate. So we're talking about purpose. Did you get a chance to look at the email I sent over?
You know what? I did get to look at it. I got it right here too on my tablet, so I'm ready.
All right. So, guys, again, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this. Question for everybody, and I want you to kind of remember an age, and I want you to really be honest. This is a segment tonight where
it literally requires you to it really requires you to be honest and be transparent with yourself. So, do you remember who you were before the world told you who you were?
Good question. Good question.
Do you remember who you were before the world told you who you were? So, Tate, do you remember that for yourself? Like, do you remember an age where things kind of just plateaued for you and it was just like it changed? Like, you was a kid, you was coloring, and you had all these imaginative ideas, and then next thing you know, you don't get no more crayons.
I'm gonna probably say that moment when mom and pops dropped me off at college, and I was in the I had to report early because I played football. So they dropped me off. We came, went to Walmart, got my supplies, and them jokers left. And as soon as them jokers left, I watched them leave and saw the car leave, and I was like, "Yo, this just got real." So it just hit me right there, and then it just from there it just blew up.
So I was probably around 10 or 11 before that when that hit for me. I come from a single parent background, and I'm the oldest of four. So, as far as conditioning is concerned, what's up, Donovan? As far as conditioning is concerned, the question is, do you remember who you were before the world told you who you were? That age for me was when my mom had her second set of children, and I became mom's sister. And I had a lot of responsibility, and I had to make sure that I fell in line on a lot of things. So for me, it was that moment in time where I stopped being a kid. I stopped creating. I stopped, being able to have that being a child experience, whatever that is. So yeah, so about then, that's when I started my transition on literally becoming who the world was going to tell me I should be, who my family was going to tell me who I was going to be, who my friends defining me as to what they felt like I should be. So that's probably for me around that time. You guys, like at this point, that's a really good question. Like, try to think about, like what do you remember who you were? Like, do you remember that child version of you who was able to create, inspire, and whatever it is that you did around that time before the world told you to? All right. So here, just a few points. The point of life is purpose, but most of us spend our entire life trying to find that purpose. What is the purpose? Were we born with it? How do we become detached to it and taken off the path? How can we get back to purpose? Purpose will be unique for everyone. All right, purpose will be unique for everyone. What you identify as your path may be different from others. What's more important is your purpose can actually shift and change throughout your life in response to the evolving priorities and fluctuations of your own experience. All right. So my question to everybody, questions that come up when you reflect upon your life purpose is number one, who am I? All right. All of these are a lot of self-awareness questions. All right. So who am I? Where do I belong? And when do I feel fulfilled? So again, guys, this is how Talk About It Thursday works. Y'all know, y'all done been rocking with me for a while. I talk to y'all, we talk to y'all talk back, y'all talk to each other.
Right, right.
So Tay, this is definitely one of those things where these questions are very much so self-reflective.
Hmm.
Have you ever found it a point in your time in your life, even in your adulthood, like right now, where you ask yourself those questions? Who am I? Where do I belong? When do I feel fulfilled?
Yeah, man. My situation. I'm in a transition time, like right now. Like it's like I got to reset on life right now, to where I've got to start over and just ask those basic questions to myself. Even now, coming out of the marriage, um, it's who am I right now? Did I lose myself in the marriage? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's time for me to reflect on myself now. So those three questions. Who am I? Where do I belong? And when do I feel fulfilled? It's like a refresher where I'm actually starting over, and those are definitely some of the questions that have come up and that come up, daily right now.
Yeah, so for most people, those questions are questions that we never really ask ourselves. And this segment is really important to me because being very self-aware is a very important thing for you to be able to recognize who you are, but not just who you are, recognize your purpose. What am I created for? What am I gifted for? What's the point of me being here on this planet? Like why what makes me fulfilled? Where do I belong? Like a lot of us go through various transitions in life where we feel these questions nagging at us, or we feel this emptiness inside, and we're trying to search to find, oh my God, like what is this that I'm missing? Like everything could be going good around you. You could have all the money in the world. You can have a great relationship, but there's going to be something within and of yourself, or something inside to make you feel like you're empty. Like you're still searching for something. So this is why some people feel hesitant when it comes to finding their purpose, or even seeking outside of themselves and inside of themselves to find that thing. Here we go. Um, Number one, they worry about that it sounds self-serving, or it's a selfish request. All right. The second thing is procrastination. Another thing is fear of failure. Another one is support. Another one is because someone told you you couldn't. And then the last one is lack of self-awareness. So I do want to talk about that last part, the lack of self-awareness part. Tay, what's your thought on, and y'all too, my people watching, when it comes to self-awareness, what does that actually mean? At what point, does self-awareness kick in, or does your priority for self kick in?
You know what? Being a giver, sometimes when you're used to giving and doing for everybody else, you put yourself last so much that it comes a point, and it came a point in my life where I had to look at myself and be like, you know what? When's the last time that I did something for me? You can get so caught up in the day-to-day routines and to being selfless and always helping someone else that you can forget yourself. So I think it's very important that we don't do that, and that we definitely take the time to reflect and just think back and make sure and just ask yourself, hey, am I treating me the best that I should be treated right now? Or, am I giving myself, my due? Sometimes you've got to be a little selfish in order to recognize that. And then, at that point, once you can identify that you've been, neglecting yourself sort of in a sense, then at that point, you got to get into that.
It's so many people that are walking around like zombies right now. And it's zombies. And then the thing about it is, people who are self-aware, and people who do really recognize how important it is to know yourself, we recognize those zombies very, very easily. Because being unfulfilled, as much as people want to think that people can't see it, you can see it.
Right.
Those other people who are, really totally into who they are and comfortable in their own skin, like they can see you. They can see you hurting. They can see you need something. They can see that there's something that you're reaching out for and crying out for. Because a lot of times with our conditioning, it starts with us getting that into our mind, and literally we're like, oh my God, like I've been trained to do this, although the inside is fighting to get out. Like we're suppressing who we really are because of conditioning.
Right.
So
Right.
just to move into a little bit, it's about what purpose is, as it relates to conditioning. True purpose is about recognizing your gifts and using them to contribute to the world. Whatever those gifts are, playing music, for others to enjoy, helping friends solve problems, or simply bringing more joy into lives of the people around you. All right. A lot of times when people think about purpose, like they think it's supposed to be assigned to a profession, or they think it's supposed to be assigned to something greater and bigger, like a teacher, or a pastor, or no, or a musician. Like it can be something as simple as you being that go-to person for a friend. You being
Right.
relatable. What are your thoughts on that?
You know what? Purpose. I think people try to define it as a tangible thing, but um, it just is. You've got to find when you're dealing with your purpose, you got to find something that's within you that you're bringing out to the world or you're bringing out to somebody else. It's definitely not something that somebody can tell you what your purpose is. You do have to identify it, and then once you identify it, you've got to function in it. Because when you're walking in your purpose, you're gonna be the best you know that you can put out there that you can be. But you've got to find that purpose. But at the same time, saying that you can't get so lost in trying to find your purpose that I mean it's gonna come to you naturally. You don't have to go on some deep excursion to find it.
Not at all.
When you just be yourself and you just let yourself walk and flow and you walk in your confidence and you function in yourself, then you're gonna find your purpose. It's gonna come out and it's gonna identify itself for you and to you.
I agree. I agree completely. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a second, and I'm going to talk about a story. I'm going to read a story. Hey, Nakia. And it's a story about purpose, and it kind of gives everybody an idea of how relatable and how simple this purpose thing can actually be, so that we won't, feel like we have to be so deep, like Tay said, in order to find it, because it's literally letting go and just being who you are. So consider a hammer. All right, we're talking about a hammer here. It's designed to hit nails. That's what it was created to do. That's what it's created for. Now imagine that the hammer never gets used. It just sits in a toolbox. The hammer doesn't care. All right, the hammer doesn't care that it's just sitting there in a toolbox because it's never been used, so it doesn't know its purpose. But now imagine that same hammer has a soul. It has a self-consciousness. Days and days go by, and within him, days and days go by with him remaining in the toolbox. He feels funny inside, but is not exactly sure why. Something is missing, but he doesn't know what it is. Then one day, someone pulls him out of out of the toolbox, and uses him to break some branches for fireplace. Now the hammer is excited, being held, being wielded, hit the branches. The hammer absolutely loves it. At the end of the day, though, he is still unfulfilled. Hitting the branches was fun, but it wasn't enough. Something is still missing. In the days that follow, he is often used. He reshapes a hubcap, blasts through some sheetrock, knocks a table leg into place, but he's still left unfulfilled. So he longs for more action. So he keeps wanting more. He wants to be used as much as possible to knock things around, to break things, to blast things, to dent things. He figures that he just hadn't had enough of these events to satisfy him. More of the same, he believes, is the solution to his lack of fulfillment. Then one day, someone uses him on a nail. Suddenly, the lights come on in the hammer's soul. He now understands what he is truly designed for. He was meant to hit nails. All the other things he hit paled in comparison. Now he knows what his hammer soul was searching for all along. I thought that was pretty dope.
Right.
Like, I mean, just the comparisons alone, in regards to this hammer, like, I mean, it was used for everything else other than what its true purpose was for. And it kept doing things like, and I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to our purpose too, guys. Like, he kept being used, but he knew the whole entire time that it wasn't enough. He was still unfulfilled in a certain capacity, and he kept being used and kept being used and kept being used, but still there was something. What is your thoughts?
Right.
Y'all help me out here, like, because this is what we do, guys. Like, we go through life like this. We go through life being punching bags. We go through life hitting shit that we aren't even supposed to be hitting. Like, we go through life, doing all of that, but we never get to the purpose of what we're for. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is, how we can get rid of this emptiness and find purpose. But what you got? Like, y'all help me in this fulfillment thing, because Again, this is a point where we have to be transparent. This is like almost the first step in being able to relinquish some of those conditioning, is being able to admit to yourself, I'm empty. I'm
Right.
searching for something.
Right. You know what? That goes back to what I was saying, that once you don't have to necessarily search for something so deep to find it as far as your purpose goes. When you're out there functioning, and you're doing different things, you know what feels right to you, and you know that you can be on the right path for something, but in the back of your mind you can just feel that something is just, this isn't it. You know what I'm saying? There's something more that I've got to be here for. And you don't, like I said, it doesn't have to be a deep search, but as soon as you come into that area or you start walking in that light, you're gonna understand it and it's gonna click, and you'll recognize that, hey, this is my purpose. This is what I was put here to do. This makes me feel, this fulfills me. This fills me up. So again, we might think that we've got to be deep and trying to search and find it, but just operate in yourself, and once it happens, and once you find that purpose, you're gonna know it, and at that point you just have to identify it and then continue to walk in it.
Look, guys, I know it's extremely hard. I do, because a lot of times we build whole families based off of false identities. We build whole relationships based off of false identities. We build connections based off of false identities, and it's because of this conditioning. We always feel it inside that there's something more, or that we want to be our true selves. However, conditioning has left us to the point where we feel obligated to live in this falsehood because we've made a life out of it. And we get caught up in this routine, and we're scared to break that routine, and we're scared to come out of our shell because we don't know whether or not this lifestyle that we created is going to support the new version of us. And I know that's a
Right, right.
scary thing.
Right. I'm gonna read one of these comments. So Nakia says that when we succumb to being used by someone or something, we strip ourselves of living our own purpose. When someone uses you for their purpose, but reciprocity doesn't occur, you'll have to reevaluate your role in fulfillment of someone else. You walk away feeling lonely and confused. Time will be taken away from you, and you're left with nothing. And I think that is absolutely correct. We can't let somebody else use us for their purpose,
Yep.
because at the end of it, you're going to be left unfulfilled, drained, weak, sick, hurt. There's a lot of things that you're going to end up being if you can't identify that, what you're doing, when you can't identify that somebody's using you. So, if you're a giver, a helper, you still don't want to be at the point to where you're being taken advantage of, because at the end of the day, when you're walking in your purpose, it's supposed to be fulfilling. It's not supposed to leave you drained, empty, lonely, sad, not wanting to continue to do that.
Right, right.
That's not your purpose. If you're feeling those types of things, then that's not your purpose. And you've got to be able to identify and adjust to that.
Look, guys, you got to learn to start talking to yourself. Like you do. Like you have to get your emotion. A lot of times we look for people to be confidants. We look for people to to be there for us, to hear us express our emotions and express our feelings. And a lot of times what we end up doing is, because we're so conditioned and because we're so programmed, whenever we do talk to those people, we actually talk to them and express ourselves based off of what they think, that we think they want to hear, or we try to dance around it to make sure that what we say isn't being judged by that person. And a lot of times that fear of being judged, that fear of stepping out and doing something differently, it's definitely something that inhibits and prohibits a lot of us from moving on to that next level, from actually just freedom, self freedom in who we are, that confidence in what we have. Dorothy says, maybe it's not about being empty, it's about recognizing what you are, mighty as a hammer. And that that's the first step, Dorothy. The first step is recognizing who you are. Like, if the hammer never knew it was a hammer, then how did it know that its soul would be fulfilled by hitting a nail?
Right.
He would have never known. Lovey says, did you want to read Chandra or Lovey's comment?
Yeah, I'll take Chandra's. I got Chandra said, I'm thankful that I've always felt uncomfortable conforming. I need to feel connected to me. When I don't, I have to reconnect immediately. Being an individual is so vital to our survival. This world will have you going crazy. Stay in your truth. I like that that she has identified herself to the point where if she feels like she's conforming to someone else's ideals or someone else's beliefs, that she can reconnect to herself. And the key word in there, she said that she does that immediately. So
Yep.
it's not something that she does. She's not walking, wayward or out of her purpose for some type of time to where she can be drained.
Right.
That she realizes that, and she's so connected to herself. This is at least that's what I take out of it, that she can jump back into herself immediately to reconnect to her purpose and what she needs to be walking in. I like that a lot.
Right. But you know what? I think the biggest thing is in this is that a lot of people never got the opportunity to know themselves in that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, when we are being ourselves, even as kids, we're told stop doing that. Stop acting like that. Stop being this. Stop being that. And when you're conditioned and told that over and over again, there's an awesome psychological study about how, and it's reading is very powerful, y'all. Reading is knowledge, and it's fundamental, and it's one of those things that will help you get to know more better about yourself as well. But psychological is where it starts first. It all starts right here in your mind. And there's three types of conditioning that psychologists speak often about. And the way that we learn in our conditioning, you have classical conditioning, you have operant conditioning, and then you have observational conditioning. So, you got all those three different types of conditioning is things that are used psychologically to start to strip us immediately from who we are beginning as children.
Right.
So the big question, guys, here we go, the big question tonight. How can you get rid of this emptiness and find purpose? These are some very unorthodox questions that can help guide you towards your purpose, because I'm all for people living in their purpose. I'm all for people living in their truth. That's my thing, y'all. Hashtag live your truth. All right. These are very unconventional. DeMarcus, you have your questions pulled up as well, right?
I do.
Okay, we'll alternate back and forth then, okay?
All right, cool.
So the first one is, what's your favorite flavor of shit sandwich, and does it come with an olive? All right, I'm gonna read it one more time. What is your favorite flavor of shit sandwich, and does it come with an olive? I know you're like, what? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Okay, so I'm gonna tell you. Everything involves a sacrifice. Everything includes some sort of cost. Nothing is pleasurable or uplifting all the time. So the question becomes, what struggle or sacrifice are you willing to tolerate? Ultimately, what determines our ability to stick with someone we care about is our ability to handle the rough patches and ride the inevitable rotten day. If you want to be a brilliant, tech entrepreneur, but you can't handle failure, then you're not going to make it far. If you want to be a professional artist, but you are not willing to see your work rejected hundreds of times, if not thousands of times, then you're done before you start. If you want to be a lawyer, but you cannot stand to work 80-hour work week, then I got bad news for y'all guys. It's just not going to work out for you. Like it's not. What unpleasant experiences are you able to handle? Are you able to stay up all night coding or putting in the necessary work in order to get it done? Are you able to put off starting a family for 10 years? Are you able to have people laugh at you, fall off stage, or humiliate yourself over and over again till you get it right? What shit sandwich do you want to eat? Because we all get served one eventually. So you might as well pick one, make it, take it, make it, and put an olive with it. All right. So that's what this is. This whole shit sandwich thing is. Look, y'all, it ain't always gonna be easy. It's not.
Right.
Like, we can't always find the easy way out. Sometimes it's going to be a no a million times. Sometimes we're going to fail a million times. Like, just look around you. Right now, I want you to look at your hand. Like, in your hand right now, you got your cell phone. How many times do y'all think they got that shit wrong?
Right.
Like, how many times y'all think they got that shit wrong? They got it wrong a million times, possibly before they got it right. So at some point, like, we're gonna have to put ourselves in a position to where we figure out what shit am I gonna deal with? And you know what? Deal with it. Deal with it. Because eating that shit sandwich is gonna make you stronger. Eating that shit sandwich is gonna give you purpose. It's gonna give you an identity. Shanae says, I'm learning that now, and it's hard because I'm a spoiled brat and I hate being told no, but I'm learning to keep pushing me. You got to. And feeling that rejection is a part of the process, guys. And you got to let yourself feel that rejection, but don't let it stop you. Have friends,
right. You
have
gotta be
amazing people in your corner. Go ahead, Tay.
right. I was gonna say, everything is not gonna be your flavor. Like, I'm either.
It's not. Like, and then you're gonna have to shuffle and fix around whatever it works for you. Like, you're gonna have to shift. You're gonna have to fix that. I don't know what happened to Tay. Kind of froze up on me a little bit, but Shanae, great point, guys. Like, we're also learning that too. Look, your friends are gonna go through stuff like this, and when they go through stuff like this, like, you'll feel and be an encourager for them. Like, be an encourager for them. Let them know that you support them and that you support their dreams, because that's going to be important. First things first is we gotta ride some shit through, y'all. We gotta eat it, and we gotta keep going, and we gotta keep pushing to get towards purpose. All right. The second one is, what is true about you today that will make your 8-year-old self cry? All right. What is true about you today that would make your 8-year-old self cry? All right. We all have a tendency to lose touch with what we loved as a child. Something about the social pressures of adolescence and professional pressures of young adulthood squeezes a passion out of us. We're taught that the only reason to do something is if we're somehow rewarded for it. All right. Let me see if I can add Tay back in. All right. So, again, we're taught that the only reason to do something is if we're somehow rewarded for it. All right. For me, I wasn't until in my early 30s that I rediscovered how much I love creating things and connecting them. And it wasn't until I started the conversation that I would be able to use my love of creating and connecting to develop ways to bring people together. The funny thing is, though, that if my 8-year-old self asks my 20-year-old or 30-year-old self, why don't you create no more? And I replied, because I don't have time, or because nobody will listen to me or come to my events, or because I can't make, any money doing it, then not only would I been completely wrong, but the 8-year-old girl version of me would have probably started crying. So this is like a full loop. DeMarcus, I tried to add you back in. I invited you, but I don't know what's wrong. So what is true about you today that will make your 8-year-old self cry? Meaning, what did you lose? What did you lose as a childhood that you love to do, like in your childhood that you love to do, that made you happy or made you feel fulfilled? And again, we got all these different types of things in regards to conditioning. But if you actually sat still and meditated for a moment, what was it that you were doing then? My sister, her amazing self, she's a makeup artist now.
I could have probably told her she would have been a makeup artist at 5 because it's all she did was play Barbies and dress up. And you know, when I was in high school and I was playing sports, you know, in order to get her out the house, you had to put a makeup compact, you know, in her face so she could like lure her out the house type deal. I knew then that she was, you know, destined for, you know, something of that nature. However, again, we get away from things. We continue to get away from things. But now she's a, you know, certified MUA. She looks flawless. She's doing everything that she needs to do to propel herself in that career. And guess what? She makes other people feel good about themselves in her purpose and in her passion. So not only is she getting fulfillment in a certain sense, but she's giving others fulfillment as well. And that's one of the biggest things about our gifts. It's about getting fulfillment, not just for ourselves, but fulfilling others as well. Getting that fulfillment from fulfilling others as well. So again, that's a good question to ask yourself. What is true about yourself today that would make your 8-year-old self cry? All right, that's a really good one. The next one, Tay, you may have to come in and come back out because I invited you, but I'm not sure why it won't let me add you anymore. All right, the next one, again, really weird, but what makes you forget to eat and poop? All right, again, what makes you forget to eat and poop? I know y'all like, wait, what is going on, huh? Here we go. We've all had that experience where we get so wrapped up in something that minutes turn into hours and hours turn into, oh my God, I haven't eaten. All right. Let me give you an example. All right. This is a good one, guys. Let me give you an example of what this kind of is. Video games. All right. Video games. People would sit and play, or people will sit and play video games for hours instead of doing more important things like studying for an exam or showering regularly or speaking to other humans face to face. All right. They would sit. Y'all know some people who would sit and play a video game for hours and hours and hours. But what happens when you give the video game up? All right. What happens when you get a video game up? Lots of people don't realize that when they give the game up, that the passion wasn't for the games themselves. All right. The passion wasn't for the games themselves, although you do love them. But the passion is for improvement, being good at something and then trying to get better. The games themselves, the graphics, the story, they're cool, but you can easily live without them. It's the competition with others, but especially yourselves, that most thrive on. All right. So maybe for you, it's something else. All right. Maybe for you, it's something. And I use that as an example because blindly, like we sit and we do things every day. You know, we like to do the things that you like to do constantly that you literally forget sometime to eat or you forget sometime to go to the bathroom. You know, it's because you're so wrapped up in that thing. But what if that thing is taken away? What if playing that video game is taken away? What about it? What about playing that video game drives you to do it? Like, that's the deeper stuff that we have to look within ourselves or within what we're doing to find. Maybe for you it's something else. Maybe it's organizing things efficiently or getting lost in a fantasy world or teaching somebody something or solving technical problems. Whatever it is, don't just look at the activities that keep you up all night, but look at the cognitive principles behind those activities and that enthrall you. Because you can easily apply it somewhere else. You can take that same thing that you're passionate about and you can apply it somewhere else. It's really as easy as that, guys. So the next thing is, how can you better embarrass yourself? All right, how can you better embarrass yourself? Before you are able to be good at something and do something important, you must first suck at something and have no clue what you're doing. All right, you got to be okay with sucking at it. And in order to suck at something, you have to have no clue what you're doing. You must embarrass yourself in some shape, fashion, or form, often, repeatedly. All right, over and over again. Shanda says, being a mother, do whatever necessary to make sure my child is the best that he can be. Social worker, advocating for positive change. Definitely. So when you get caught in that situation where you're having to do something over and over again and you still suck at it, like it's terrible. You have to get comfortable with that. And most people try to avoid embarrassing themselves, namely because it sucks. But if you avoid anything that could potentially embarrass you, then you will never end up doing something that could jog a feeling and make a connection to something bigger. Right now, there's something you want to do, something you think about doing, something that you fantasize about doing, yet you don't do it. You have reasons, no doubt. Like everybody has their reasons. And you repeat these reasons to yourself all the time. But what are those reasons, guys? A lot of times is, tell me, let's talk for a moment. What are the reasons that someone would talk themselves out of being embarrassed or doing something because of, they're going to be, they're going to be embarrassed. Like, what are your thoughts about why people stop? Why people repeat those reasons to themselves all the time for not being embarrassed? I make a fool of myself often, and I'm okay with it, but you have to be okay with it. Is it about what others think? A lot of it has to do with that, fear of judgment. A lot of it has to do with conditioning. Some more of that has to do with religion, how we're brought up, how we're taught to believe. It's one thing to be taught to believe something, guys. Definitely one thing to be taught to believe it, but definitely another thing to search for something within and of yourself and know what that thing it is that you believe is and why. We have to be able to directly relate it to us. Nakia says because they are too worried about what other people think. Definitely. Great things are, by their very nature, unique and unconventional. All right? So I want y'all to sit on that for a second. Great things by themselves, great things are already very unique and very unconventional by just being great, by just being who they are. And I think if we can grasp that concept, if you guys can understand that you're great, just being your unique and unconventional self, like without fitting in, without having to feel like you belong in something, like you're great all by yourself. Therefore, to achieve greatness, you must go against the herd. Like, in order to achieve that greatness, like, you're going to have to go against the grain. And I know that can be very scary, guys. I know it's scary to feel like you're going to step out there and you're going to mess up, because you are. I know it's scary to feel like you're going to step out there and embarrass yourself, because you will. I know it's scary to step out there because you think you may lose all your friends. Guess what? You just might. But there's greatness on the other side of that. Like, that's what makes my heart smile for people who get this, because they know the struggle and the transformation that it's taken to get to this point. Like, you want to smile, you want to feel free, and oftentimes we try to feel free within and of ourselves, and we try to get that thing and we try to get it down pat, but we're so afraid to just simply be vulnerable and open up and let people joke on us, let people laugh at us, let people, fall off or fall by the wayside, let people go. We're scared to do all of that, but we forget to embrace the moments of being embarrassed. Feeling foolish is a part of the path to achieving something important, something meaningful. The more a major life decision scares you, chances are you need to be doing it. I'm gonna say that one more time, because that just spoke to my soul. I had a moment. The more major a life decision scares you, chances are the more you need to be doing it. Chandra says, name a fashion icon who didn't push the envelope. We can't. Gotta do what hasn't been done. People will follow. Yes. It's like a meal, Nakia says. Sometimes it doesn't need additional condiments. Eat it as it is and just try it. If not, you'll know for the next time. Shanae says, I'll make sure I tell my kids every day. I didn't learn this until now. Y'all, this is real stuff. Like, I'm surrounded by so many great people who I see as great, but they don't see themselves as great. And it's really discouraging because I can't do the work for you. Like, your friends can't do the work for you. Your kids, your family, your partner, your boyfriend, your husband, they can't do the work for you. I can see greatness in you guys all day long. But until you make that step to operate in greatness and push the envelope and be okay with being embarrassed, being okay with messing up, and being okay with being judged, then you're gonna not fulfill that very thing that God purposed you to be. Like, I haven't always been good at public speaking. Like, I haven't. I still have a lot of room to get better at it. I do. But it was things like my grandma or my auntie putting me up in front of the church. Because I grew up Baptist. Shout out to everybody who was raised Baptist. But I went to church 3 days a week. Like, it was 3 to 4 days a week. I was at church. I had to go to revival. And when we went to revival, especially the youth revivals, they made me stand up every single time and say, first giving honor to God, to pastor, first lady, deacons, members, and friends. We thank you so very much for inviting us to your church, and I hope you feel whatever. Like, it went on from there, but I hope you have, a great time, and we'll pray your strength in the Lord as you pray ours. Like, I was so embarrassed. I was so nervous. I would fumble all the time. Everybody would laugh at me, but my aunt made me keep doing it over and over and over again. And it wasn't until I realized now, like in my adulthood, that she was pushing me towards purpose. She saw something in me. She saw greatness in me. And, as much as I wanted to kick and scream and yell about it, I had to do it. And purpose and conditioning yourself, guys, this is not going to be an overnight thing. Like, maybe the light bulb will go on overnight, but the work that it's taken to actually get there is going to take some time. Be okay with the process. All right, be okay with the process. The next thing in regards to how you identify purpose, how do I get there? How are you going to save the world? All right, that's the question. How are you going to save the world? In this case, you haven't seen the news lately. All right, the world has a lot of problems. All right, and by a few problems, what I really mean about the world, like it's really messed up, guys. Like, the world is really, really messed up, and we're all going to die. Like, it's that bad. Like, the world it has its thing. So to live a happy and healthy life, we must hold on to things that are greater than our own pleasure or satisfaction. All right. Again, to live a happy and healthy life, we must hold on to values that are greater than our own pleasures or satisfaction. So pick a problem and start saving the world. There are plenty to choose from. All right. There's homelessness. There's kids that don't have clothes. There's kids that don't have parents. There's orphans. There's people who don't have water. There's energy crisis. There's it's so many different problems that's in the world. Like, we got a million to pick from. Find a problem that you care about and start solving it. Obviously, you're not going to fix the world's problem by yourself, but you can contribute and make a difference. And that feeling of making a difference is ultimately what's important for your own happiness and fulfillment. All right. What's up, Nadrian? What's up, Tasha? What's up, DJ Chaos? Everybody is coming on in. So a lot of people think, why is community service important? Like, how is that going to help me fulfill my purpose in the first place? Like, first we have to understand that purpose is selfless. All right. It's for you because it fulfills you in ways that nothing else in this world can fulfill you. However, it's a very selfless act. So you ask, what's this whole community service thing? Why is it important for me to give back to my community? It's important because the world needs saving. Like, in order for us to make the world a better place, it's going to take each and every one of us being accountable. And you can't be the one to say, I'm not going to do this because I done got burnt out on ABC XYZ or burnt by ABC XYZ, because that's not the true intention and the true nature behind it. The giving and the saving goes to help so many more people, or so many, people get it. Like, we just need to reach one. And sometimes it's 1 out of 100. Like sometimes it's 1 out of 100. Sometimes you are not going to get it that first time. You're just not. Like sometimes, you're going to get hurt by those things and hurt by those people, but you still have to be a superhero in some capacity. Like you do. Chandra says, foster care youth has been my advocacy for 17 years. One starfish at a time. Children are the future. I definitely agree. Cedric says, we need to understand what is guiding us. When you live with purpose, you must be connected with God and more importantly yourself. So that you have a clear understanding of the struggles and challenges. So you understand the struggle and challenges that you're going to face and somehow find the energy needed to move forward and even surpass our goals in life. It has been written, it's better to give than receive. And when we do, we feel those voids in our life. I agree. Definitely a very good point, Cedric. Definitely. So, make sure that you are giving, guys. Like it's important to give, and it's important to give according to something that makes you feel good. Because a lot of times too, with conditioning, we're conditioned to give to a certain institute or conditioned to give in a certain way that still leaves us feeling unfulfilled. All right. I'm not going to criticize anything, or anybody at this point, but it's, like you have to have that talk within and of yourself. If you continue to give and give and give to a charity or give your services to something and you still leave unfulfilled, chances are you need to reroute that. You need to figure out what it is that you like. If it's something that you like, if you like sewing, like maybe you can knit some sweaters for the homeless, or you can knit some blankets for, people when they get, or children in an orphanage. Like there's so many different ways and paths, but you have to do the research and you have to find it. But first and foremost, like Cedric said, you have to be connected to your self-awareness and to your spirit man in order to be still yourself and listen to what those things actually are. Natasha, big ups to you. She says, I volunteered working for kids with developmental disabilities several times since I was a teenager. I love working with that group of kids. Damien says, mental health awareness and advocacy, especially in the African American community, has been my calling. And I say this because as much as I dislike the business side of things, helping others to understand the impact of mental health in our daily lives. So there's so many amazing tools. The conversation in and of itself provides amazing tools for you to be able to contribute to your community. And guess what? Sometimes it doesn't. Given the monetary things, guys, is a blessing. I'm not going to discount that at all, but your presence sometimes alone can not only shift someone else's life, but it can shift your life as well. So try to definitely pay attention to make sure that you're in that path, or you're in that realm of being able to understand that. All right. So I only have 2 more to go to, guys. We're going to get to the to this one, and I really want everybody to think about this. Again, guys, this is called Conditioning, Getting Back to Purpose. Talk about it Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. Cheers. I see I have a lot of people locked in and engaged. I appreciate you guys watching. This Talk About It Thursday is a lot different from the other ones. I'm going to have my whole crew and my panel back on next week, but right now it's just a little intimate time with Elise and you. DeMarcus was on earlier, but I appreciate y'all, so we're gonna keep rolling with this thing. Here we go. Gun to your head. If you had to leave the house all day, every day, where would you go and what would you do? All right. Again, gun to your head. If you had to leave the house all day, every day, where would you go and what would you do? And no, you just can't sit in a coffee shop and browse Facebook. All right. You just can't sit on the phone. You can't be on Facebook, social media. This has nothing to do with that. So I want y'all to think about that. Gun to your head. If you had to leave the house all day, every day, where would you go and what would you do? You guys can share your answers, or because I see, like, I'm not even looking at y'all, but I see people's wheels turning like, if I had to leave the house all day, every day, where would you go and what would you do? Chandra says the beach. Zaida says the beach. Let's just pretend like there's no useless websites, no video games, no TV. You have to be outside of the house all day, every day until it's time to go to bed. Where would you go and what would you do? All right. Cheryl says, big brother, big sister is always looking for those willing to help and save a child at risk. Definitely, Cheryl, definitely. Zaida says, a theater acting on stage. Guess what, Zai? That would be me. I definitely could see myself in the theater, or being an actor, actress. Honestly, a big one for me is radio. I definitely could see myself going into a studio every day and just producing and talking and sharing and connecting and allowing people this platform and this opportunity to just help. Like, I don't care if my thing is I only need one. I only need to reach one person. I only need to expose one person, and I'm good. Like, I'm good. Life would be great for me. For many of us, the enemy of just old-fashioned complacency is where we are. All right. We get into our routines. We distract ourselves. What most people don't understand is that passion is a result of action. All right. Not the cause of it. All right. I'm gonna say it again. What most people don't understand is that passion is a result of action and not the cause of it. Discovering what you're passionate about in life and what matters to you is a full contact sport and a trial and error process. None of us know exactly how we feel about an activity until we actually do the activity. All right. This actually pertains to a lot of things, guys. When it comes, Janella, that's awesome. She would go to a bakery and learn some baking tips. Like, a lot of us don't realize when we're invited to things, like, that is an opportunity for us to pour ourselves into something. However that looks like for you, like, you can do it like that. But that is definitely an opportunity for us to pour ourselves into that. Not necessarily go somewhere looking for a handout or looking for the environment, the vibe to do it for you. No, it's what you bring. Passion is an action word. Like, you can't get passion and just sit there. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's an action word. So when most people passion is a result of an action, and not the cause of it. If it strikes you, write it down. If it strikes you, write down a few answers and then go out and actually do them. All right. So, like, there's things in our lives. Cher says, I would go to every local Goodwill retail therapy. So, like, the thing about it, guys, if there's something that's in your mind, like, every day, like, sit and think about that. What would I do every day of my life, like, that would make me feel happy? You know what I'm saying? Not even happy, but just something that if I sat down and I could do this every day, all day, and that's all I did, what would be that thing? Because that's going to help you answer or get closer to answering what your purpose for. All right. Last thing, guys. Last thing for tonight before we, close this thing out. And here we go. This is like the meat and potatoes of it all. The last question of Big Bang. If you knew you were going to die 1 year from today, what would you do and how would you want to be remembered? All right. Again, if you knew you were going to die 1 year from today, what would you do and how would you want to be remembered? All right. Most of us don't like to think about death. It really freaks us out. But thinking about our own death, surprisingly, has a lot of practical advantages. One of those advantages is that it forces us to zero in on what is actually important in our lives and what is just frivolous and distracting. In order to enjoy life, we must embrace the full concept of death. When people feel like they have no sense of direction or purpose in their life, it's because they don't know what's important to them. They don't know what their values are. And when you don't know what your values are, then you are essentially taking on other people's values and living other people's priorities instead of your own. The one-way ticket to unhealthy relationships and eventual misery. All right. And guys, again, that is, if you don't know what your own values are, then what you're actually doing is taking on the values of other people and you're living other people's priorities instead of your own. And I've been there. It's very unhealthy and it is very miserable. Very unhealthy and very miserable. Discovering your purpose in life essentially boils down to finding those one or two things that are bigger than yourself and bigger than those around you. It's not about some great achievement, but merely finding a way to spend your limited amount of time well. And to do that, you must get off the couch and you must act, and you literally must take time to think beyond yourself, to think greater than yourself, and actually like imagine a world without you. Like you have to imagine a world without yourself. Like what does that look like? Like what does my values look like? What does my morals look like? What are my priorities? Like can I sit and talk to somebody about those things? If somebody came up to me and said, "Hey Elise, what do you value?" Or "Hey Zaida, what do you value?" "Hey Cedric, what do you value?" "Hey Shanae, hey Chandra, what is it that you do that makes you have the morals that you have?" Like, you know, what is your priority in life? Like a lot of times people have a very, very, very hard time articulating themselves because they're so, well, first they don't know themselves. They haven't actually taken the time to sit down and process what that means for themselves. And some people try to jump the gun and they start regurgitating and saying things about other people's passions and about other people's dreams. And it's so hard for them to formulate words because they're trying to still please you that it's hard for them to articulate. Nakia said it's sad because we drive goals for others like our employers. Yes, but we don't do it for ourselves, afraid to step out on faith. I agree. I definitely agree with that. Another big thing with that is we don't do a really good job of supporting one another either. You know, it is easier for some people, for most of us, to get up and go to a 9-to-5 because we don't have that support system in our life. A lot of cultures support one another like they do. Like a lot of, cultures are practiced to support one another, to, hold each other down until they get to, that place in life where they need to. And then the process starts right back over again with the next person in line. And they do it and they support it and they hold it down. And then in the end, when it's their time to be blessed, when they get to where they need to get to, they don't forget about their family. They say, "Hey, come with me. Come with me. Like, you helped me get to this journey. Come with me." Janella says, "Oh man, I would spend time with my daughter every day and to do my best to prepare her. I want to be remembered in this life of party. The happy, fun JJ." I just posted a post the other day. Big shout out to Alicia Bigme. She said, I want to live a life where my soul dances inside my body. Like, you want to live that type of life where you're just full, you're just happy, you're just satisfied. You live all that life is to be. Because again, last question, guys, if you knew you were going to die 1 year from today, what would you do and how would you want to be remembered? In order to really understand and appreciate life, guys, we have to understand and value death. And what we do horribly as people is we always think tomorrow is promised. We always think tomorrow is promised. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll do it later on today. Oh, I'll do it this day, or I'll do it in this time. Guess what? We put so much trust in time and in knowing that we'll get another chance that it never truly really hits us until it either hits close to home or we're in a near-death situation ourselves. You don't have to wait to that funeral. You don't have to wait to that car accident. You don't have to wait to a near-death experience accident to make a change, to do something that makes you happy, that fulfills you, and that gives you purpose. Because if you really understand and value time, you would really know how unexpected and how precious it is, because at any given point, it can be stripped from us. So if you don't want to live a life full of regrets, and if you don't want to live a life unfulfilled, then at this point, guys, you have to stop and ask yourself, what is it that I want? What is my purpose? Like, what is this thing that's going to make me fulfilled? How can I lay down at night and have the peace that I know I'm granted? Like, God granted everybody in here divine peace. Like, everybody has it within and of themselves that's inside. How can I get to that peace? How can I be fulfilled? It's going to be very important that you literally, like, you're going to have to be able to value time and understand that it starts now. It starts during this live. It starts after this live. Like, it starts right now. Like, you can make that decision right now to let some things go, to reevaluate some things and prioritize some things, get your values in line, and you would do that. Shanae says, I would teach my kids to find happiness from within, and they can really be whatever they want to be, but they have to work hard and they can't give up. Of course, we would take amazing photos every day so they can remember how amazing their mom was. Oh, my babies. My sweet babies. So guys, I'm going to wrap this segment up, but I wanted to say thank you for everybody that watched. I want you guys to share this because I do believe that we're all connected. We're all sent here for a divine purpose. And everybody's divine purpose is unique. We can't keep looking at other people and comparing our gifts to one another. You can be in the exact same profession as somebody else. You can have the same gift as somebody else. You can be a healer. You can be a person that connects people. You can do those things. Like you can be someone who gives people peace or calms their energy. You can be those things, and somebody can be the exact same thing. But guess what? They don't do it the exact same way that you do it. They're not purposed to do it the same way that you do it. You're special. You're unique. We have to start operating in our greatness, which means we have to be okay with being embarrassed. We have to be okay with being judged, called weird, whatever that means. Accept it. Accept your weirdness. Accept it. Like, embrace it. Embrace your weirdness. Embrace, the fact that you're not going to fit in sometime. I love it, Dominique. Comparison is the thief of joy. Yes, it is. Because when I tell you the joy of the Lord is what they say is your strength, like, that's all you need. Like, the joy of just simple life itself. Like, you guys don't, like, you don't understand that. And it literally, once you heal yourself from the inside, Cedric made a great point. Guys, if you're lost, make sure you sit down and have the opportunity to find the beauty within who you are. And if you're around people who don't realize how beautiful you are, leave. Because you don't need them type of people in your life. Go get connected to some people who believe in you and who support you and who want to see you being your unique self. Look, my family is weird. My friends are weird. I have one friend that's a collector of odd people. She brings the most oddest people together. But it's so amazing because even in our differences, we work beautifully together. We vibe beautifully together. I love seeing y'all at game night. All these different personalities, all these different people who are a little timid but still came out to try, who leave connected with other people. And you never know. Like, your yes to that project that you've been working on could lie in that connection. That yes to whatever that career path it is that you are looking for could lie in that connection, but it never works if you never come out. It never works if you never let go and be free. It never works if you're too embarrassed and too ashamed to be embarrassed or to try. Like, it's never going to work. So from my heart to you guys, whoever that is that you want to be, that you are, that is still kind of hiding a little bit to come out, I love it. I think it's amazing. I think you should let it out a little bit more. We can all use our spiritual tools and spiritual guidance and spiritual backings to kind of help us tame that, because it can be wild and it can be crazy, and we do have to continue to to mold that and shape it. But you know what, Shanae, I'm not with you. To mold that and shape it. But the first thing we have to do is be it. Connect yourself around people that love you. Guys, I love y'all. You, like the you are, the you God created you to be, not the you from your conditioning, not the you from your fears, not the you from your worries, but the divine you that we all have inside of us. I connect with that person. I connect with that spirit. I connect with that that thing. So if you kind of see me and I'm challenging you, it's because I invite you to be yourself. Invite people to be themselves, guys, and you don't understand the type of world that it will open up for you. I wish you all a good night. Thank y'all again for watching this live. Stop what you're doing. Share it, please. Continue to live y'all best life. I'm going to live it with y'all. We're going to grow. There's plenty of room at the table for us all to eat, but we got to do the work. So do me a favor, y'all. Do the work. Connect with each other. Keep vibing. Keep loving. Keep searching. Keep pushing. Keep failing. Keep trying. And again, guys, as always, keep the conversation going. Good night.